All right, what's going on, Nathan? We're live. I just got to get the streams going. How you doing, bro?
Dude, I'm great, man. Just having some lunch.
What do you eat?
Busy day today, but it's good. We're oh man, I'm excited to go through this deal.
Yeah.
This was this was a fun one.
This was a doozy. It was a doozy, man. This one it was pretty crazy, and I'm excited to talk about it. How am I coming through, man? Am I coming through choppy or what?
Crisp.
You know what's pretty awesome, man? You were telling me my internet was kind of bad, so I upgraded it on Starlink, and I maybe that was the problem. I just probably maybe I just need a little faster speed, you know?
It's like oh wait, you mean my internet getting run by the guy like on a bicycle just pedaling away? That wasn't
working. No, what? Yeah. Anyway, we don't have to get into it. So, it looks like the streams are live. We can get right into it. Yeah, man, I'm excited to break this deal down. Let's do it. So, I think everyone can see my screen. Let's see. Let me make sure.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. So, you ready? All right, we're gonna do the intro. I know this is live, but we're gonna be breaking this thing down like as if it's not. Well, it is live, but anyway. All right, so let's get into it, guys. What we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be breaking down a deal that we did with one of our partners. And when we say partners, what me and Nathan Valley do, if you don't know, at Payneless Flipping is we work with clients, we work with partners, and we help them close deals. That's what we do. So today we're gonna be breaking down a deal where it would have been almost impossible to get it done if you didn't have somewhat experience. I mean, we're going to break it down and show you guys, but someone brought us a deal and they were like, man, I don't really know how to close it. The lady's facing tax auction. Her house is going to an auction because she's behind her taxes. There's a cloud on top. There's all these things that are problems with it, but we were able to get past all that and get the deal closed. So that's what we do is we not only, teach people how to build a wholesaling business, but we help them close deals because the best way to learn how to do this business is to actually close real deals. Right, Nathan? Do you have anything you want to add to that before we get into the deal?
No, you guys will also get to see what we call the pre-flip method. So the way that we wholesale, kind of the process, what we call the pre-flip method is very different from what we call traditional wholesaling. So you guys will kind of get a glimpse as to how we're able to work that in and why it works so well.
That's right. All right. So let's get right into it. Like I was saying, it was an $11,000 deal. Now, look, I've made a lot more and I've made a lot less. This one is an okay deal. I wish we would have made more and we were going to make more. Everybody's probably heard, you're going to make more. But anyway, you'll see what happened with it.
Yeah, guys, we don't want to just show the home run deals. It's
the reality.
It's a little bit less than half what our average deal size actually is. So our average deal size is closer to like 24,000, 23, 24. So it's like 11 wasn't what we were wanting, but it's where kind of things ended up at.
Yeah, and if any of you that are watching or will watch this don't know what wholesaling is, it's basically you take your rights to purchase a contract and you assign it to someone for a fee. And that's why we're able to do this deal with $0 out of our own pocket. The marketing, we didn't spend any money on lead gen because we were able to get this from a partner, right? And we didn't put any money of our own money into the deal. Even the EMD, we don't use any of our own money, okay? And this deal, unfortunately, was supposed to take less than a month, but it ended up taking about 6 months. And the reason why that is, you're going to get and see why. And that I want to set the proper expectations for a lot of people. You can do a deal in less than 30 days wholesaling. Does that happen a lot? No, it doesn't. You know why? Because there's title issues. There's a lot of things that can happen. So we're going to be talking about what happened in this deal, but just letting you guys know, it's not always as sexy as getting a deal done in 7 days. I've done it. I've done deals in less than 3 days, but it just doesn't always happen. So anyway, this is
just for context, guys, because I can't stand, don't get me wrong. Like, we all want to make money quick in 30 days, but you got to be committed to this for the long haul. We just had a conversation today with, I won't say who, but let's just say somebody that has access to data on thousands and thousands of real estate transactions and wholesale deals. Do you want to know what the average, despite, because I know a lot of gurus and stuff try to say like, oh yeah, like closing a deal our average lead to close ratio, from when we talk to a seller to close it is 42 days, 45 days, 30 days. It's just, yeah, that's nonsense to me. After looking at data for thousands and thousands of wholesale deals, the average was 92 days, meaning from when a lead comes in to when it actually closes, 92 days on average. So you're really looking at, to realistically, if you want to actually be in this business seriously, long term, you want to expect 60 to 90 days. And that's when you know what you're doing.
It takes a while.
Anything shorter than that, it absolutely, it can happen. It does happen. But it's typically that's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, in this video, you guys are going to see like the reality of what it takes to get a deal done. Like you see a lot of stuff online like, oh, one call closes. Like, this is what it really looks like. This is from start to finish. I got it all laid out for you guys. So I think you're going to be able to learn like a lot about the reality of this business instead of just like what sounds cool on a quick video, right? So what we have here is on, like I told you guys, what you're going to be learning today is how we save this house. Like a lot of people look at real estate investors, wholesalers, and like, oh, you guys are little scammers. You guys just take people's houses. This house, shoot, this lady would have lost her house. She would have lost everything if we weren't able to come in and save this deal. So we saved her house. Number one, we stopped a tax auction that was going to be happening days after we got it under contract. We were able to stop it and extend it multiple times. We did a move that enabled us to get her more than she would have ever been able to get if she just did it with a traditional real estate agent. It was a bold move, Nathan. I don't know if you remember, but we did a crazy price drop. We had it lower than what we actually put it for, lower than we actually had it under contract for, to generate interest. We're going to be talking about that. How we beat 4 deal killers, right? There was a government shutdown. There was a cloud on title, tax auction. There was crazy stuff happening on this deal, which almost made it like a tons of hurdles. We beat all 4 of them, and we got our partner paid. He made $3,300. It was an $11,000 deal. He got paid 30%. That's what we do for people. We take deals that they probably couldn't do themselves. I would say this one definitely couldn't have done itself, and we get people paid, and they learn along the way. So let's hop to the next one. So Nathan, I know you didn't see this, right? Because you probably haven't thought about this deal, but this house was actually we sold it for $267. Guess what they just sold it for? It's under contract, $479. They were all whining. All the flippers were like, oh, I probably won't even be able to flip this thing for $380, $400. Flipped it. And it's listed, it's pending, right? So you got to take that with a grain of salt, but it's $479. Come on, that's a huge upside to the flipper that got it for $267.
I would say though, we don't know the behind the curtain details and the numbers of everything. So
right.
you
never know.
Be surprised how things can get eaten up.
So this is the house we're looking at, okay? 860 Sweet Mill in Lawrenceville, Georgia. We do this business from our homes, okay? We flip houses, we wholesale. Nathan, you're in Connecticut. I'm in Canada. I'm in Ontario. We do this all from just, like I said, from our offices, from our home. This is my home office. This is where you work. So that's the thing about this business is you can do it from anywhere. And we did a deal in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Have I ever been in Lawrenceville, Georgia? I used to live in Atlanta, but I don't think I ever went to Lawrenceville. I lived in, East Cobb. I don't think I've ever been there. I've never seen this house, but we were able to do this deal all without having to go see it, smell it, touch it, feel it. We just were able to negotiate it all from the comfort of our own home. Okay. And this house was flipped. This is what wholesaling is. You take a distressed property, and then you find someone that's going to put in the sweat equity, the work, and flip it themselves, and they get paid for their hard work, but we get paid for negotiating and finding the deal. Okay, so normal deal, like normal home, single family home. That's what we work with. Nathan, anything you want to add to that before we go to the next one?
Nah, man.
Okay. All right, so here is our purchase contract. Just so you guys know that this is real and we're not just making this stuff up. So a partner brought us this deal, as we guys were telling you. We're not going to dive in too deep, like how we had the relationship with the partner. But he brought us this deal, didn't know. Well, Nathan, you want to speak on that a little bit? You had the conversation with them.
That they were a real estate agent. They're like, hey, I have this seller. They're in this situation. They need to sell. I don't know how to help them. Right? Because she was
days away from losing her house.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. So she was
she was about to lose the house, and
She was
And the
behind on her
person was like,
payments
"Hey,
too.
can you help
Sorry,
her?"
I don't want to cut you out. I'm just telling you in case you forgot. Days behind, days away from losing her house to a tax auction. She was behind on her payments, and yeah, and you ended up negotiating the deal with her for $275. So do you want to kind of explain that portion of it, like how that went?
Well, so the lead was like, "Hey, she wants her needs $275." I chat with her. I think we actually went under contract at 270. Does it say 270 on there?
It says 270. It says 275.
Oh, it does. Maybe it was 280. I don't know. Where were we at? 275. And the main reason was so that we could put the auction on pause. Because again, she was about to lose the home. And again, the most important piece was we need to set proper expectations with the seller. What we call traditional wholesaling, that is people to where, in my opinion, it's extremely unethical and dishonest.
Right.
If you are saying you are a cash offer and that you are going to buy the property at that price, unless you actually have the intentions of buying the property, you should not be saying you're the cash buyer. You don't need to. Guys, I'll let you in on a secret. Nobody actually cares if it's someone else buying the property. All people care about is, do they believe, do they feel that they're getting the best deal possible, right? Can you actually help them? We don't need to lie. We don't need to pretend we're someone we're not, or whatever the case may be. So the seller, and guys, I'll also let you in on a secret. Wholesaling gets 1,000 times easier when we're not lying to sellers. Not only do you make more money, not only do you have a happy buyer and a happy seller at the end of it, but it also is 1,000 times easier because you don't have to tiptoe around things. You don't have to say, "Oh, can my 30 contractors come take a look at it?"
Well,
none of that stuff.
Nate, real quick, I want to say, so she was in a situation she was going to lose her house pretty quick. If you would have been like, "Yeah, I'm going to buy it for $275, I got it. Let me just send some contractors in," you would have done the dispo process the traditional way. Maybe you wouldn't have been able to find anyone, because we know from this experience that $275 was too high, and you would have canceled on her, and she would have been in deep doo-doo because she would have been like days away from losing her house. So
she would have lost everything.
She would have lost everything. So telling someone you're going to buy their house when you don't know if you can or not can really, it's not good. It's not good to do that. Don't do it. I know that's traditional wholesaling, but it can really, in situations, that's why we don't do that, right? We do the pre-flip method. We're very transparent what we do, so people don't get screwed over. So anyway, that's why pre-flipping.
Kudos to the person, the agent that brought us this deal, because they knew that, hey, yes, I'm an agent, but they knew they weren't equipped to be able to help this woman and solve this problem. And so they left their ego at the door. And rather than let me go on YouTube and just, let me just get a contract signed up. Guys, these are people's lives. They're real homes. You know what I mean? Sure. It's not just, it's another canceled contract. No, it's this woman would have just lost everything and been in a really, really tough spot. That's why all this legislation and stuff comes out. I know people like to make videos on it. The reason why all these laws are popping up about wholesaling, specifically traditional wholesaling, it's not because there's so many happy buyers and sellers. It's because there are so many people getting screwed over at such a large scale now, to where the authorities are starting to get involved.
Well, and also so many new people don't know what they're doing. They're just wasting everybody's time and it's screwing people over. Real quick, Nate, before we hop on to the next slide about what we did to get it dispoed, anything you want to talk about in your negotiation process with her, laying out the proper expectations to her? Anything do you want to elaborate on?
The biggest thing was she understood that we are not buying the property. It is not us. It depends on someone else. It depends on them coming to look at it. Depends on what they think, what they say, and what they're able to pay. This is what the process would look like, Ms. Seller. What would you like to do? And now the sellers can make a decision, actually understanding what the process looks like and being like, yes, I'm okay with that.
And for everybody watching and thinking like that's what real estate agents do, the process of doing the deal is still wholesaling, because we still are in the transaction. We still have the rights and we still assign it, right? So we still assign. are involved. We're not just giving the buyer to the seller and saying, hey, just, you guys work together and you pay us. It's wholesaling, but it's just being transparent about it.
Yeah, it's just exactly that. It is ethical, transparent wholesaling. And just real quick, for anyone that's like, well, I heard someone say, oh, well, what about, isn't that like brokering without a license? No, guys, brokering without a license is if you're getting a commission, right, without being licensed, or you're representing the seller or a buyer in the negotiation. Every step of the way, we are representing ourselves. We are negotiating for ourselves. We're not negotiating on behalf of the seller. We're not negotiating on behalf of the buyer. And we're not receiving a commission. So we can go way deeper in that, but that's not what this call is about. So anyways, so she's a few days away. It's like, hey, here's what the process would look like. Here's what we could do. I don't know if 275, and this is really important. I do not know, Ms. Seller, if 275 is going to be able to work, but let's do this. Let's move forward with the contract for 275. That will allow us to do XYZ, which is basically, let's stop this first from going to auction. That will allow us to pause this, and then we can have people look at it and see what they're able to do.
Right.
They might be able to make that work. They might not. I don't know. It will depend. And the seller's like, yeah, let's do it.
Boom. So Nathan gets it under contract for 275. So I'm doing the dispo, and we decide, hey, we're going to do a novation on this. Not only are we going to see if we can find some higher offers that come from conventional buyers that have traditional financing from a bank, but we're going to see if there's any cash buyers that are interested. So we listed at 325 because was a reasonable price. Most of the homes in the area were selling around 400,000 that were flipped or fixed up 425. So we're like, okay, 324, it still needs work, but people are going to be interested in that price. And we were right. We had tons of showings. Okay. And by the way, if you guys don't know what an novation is or how we did it, we go to brokerlist.com, and then with the right paperwork, with filling out the right information, the purchase and sale agreement with the seller, having them sign an attorney in fact, you're able to do that. Okay. So we did a novation that allows us to put it on the MLS and not only find a buyer through that. And if it is a conventional buyer, someone that has going to get money from a bank, we can get paid out on that too, right? Without having to be a real estate agent. And that's the coolest thing, is like we can do this. We don't have to be licensed in specific states. We can do this all over the United States and get paid through doing novations or cash offers. All right. So what ended up happening is tons of showings. Lots of people are interested because the house looked decent on the outside. They go inside, trashed, disgusting. Unfortunately, just not trash in the cellar, but it just wasn't a nice home, like nice inside, a little bit of water damage. So it just wasn't. People would go in with the expectations like, oh, this is going to be nice. Even though I set the expectations with everyone, hey, needs work. And by the way, when you do a novation like this, you want to tell the agents, you want to tell anyone that's going, like, set the right expectations. Like, it needs work. We're not looking for someone that's like going to buy this thinking that's like good, good to go, right? Like, this needs work. So anyway, tons of showings. Let's see. And we were telling people no FHA buyers because FHA is extremely hard to work with when you have issues in the home, right? Because they have a giant checklist and they don't get funding on deals that have a lot of issues, right? So we're looking at conventional, and we're looking at VA too sometimes, and cash. That's what we're looking for. All right. And we ended up, like, as you guys can see, this is the listing that we had, listing from Zillow.
Well, let me also say an important note is she only owed, I think, maybe 20,000 on the house.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of equity on the house. So I just want to throw that in there because that's going to be very important coming up.
And it's like, man, why can you just catch this up? Can someone just pay your taxes? And she couldn't do it. And she just was ready to move on. So,
yeah, I think something. Yeah, I can't remember the situation.
Not only was it taxes, but it had been in pre-foreclosure for a long time too. So there's a lot of debt on it. Anyway, so what's the next step after we put it on the MLS? We needed to find a title company. Now we need title companies that can work with novation paperwork, that know how to do novations, because we do not want to work with a title company, especially in Georgia, that's an attorney state. We don't want to deal with attorneys and title companies that don't know what they're doing because they'll blow your deal up. So what did I do? I tapped into my network. I know a lot of wholesalers. I know a lot of real estate investors throughout the United States. I know how to tap into like specific areas and networks. I reached out to them and I said, hey, who's the best for novations in this area? And my buddy, he gave me contact to about 3 or 4 of them. I reached out to all of them. I basically went with who was ever able to answer quick enough and knew what they were doing. Because I can't be working with people that are going to take days to respond. I need speed to communication is super important when you're doing deals. So that's basically who I chose. All right. So I talked to a couple of them and I picked on who was the most responsive. I know, Nathan, it's a pet peeve of yours and mine. Like if you're talking to a title company, they take forever to get back to you. It's like, I need to know what's going on now or as soon as possible, not in a couple of days. Right.
Yeah. And guys, that's where it's like the cheapest company is not the best option. There is title companies can be worth their weight in gold when you have a good one.
They can get the deal done.
And just like a very simple kind of example is, if you're negotiating with the seller and the seller wants an update or they're like, hey, like what's going on? I haven't heard anything yet. If it's taking you days to get a response and then you're not getting the right answers and stuff, I don't care if a different title company is twice as expensive, because this title company is now hurting the relation with the seller. It's putting stress on this entire process. Guys, whether you have a contract or not, things can fall through. Because if a seller decides they don't want to work with you anymore, guys, I got news for you. If you have a contract, it does not mean a whole lot. As a wholesaler, good luck. They can sign. It's a piece of paper, right? Now, yes, it's a legally binding contract. Yes, you can go after them legally. But unfortunately, in like 99% of cases, it really just financially doesn't make any sense.
And Nathan, you nailed it too, man.
It's one of the biggest misconceptions is wholesaling. The deal is not done when a seller says yes and signs a contract. It's not even close to done. It's not even halfway done, in my opinion. It's like maybe the first third of the process is done.
Yeah.
The selling does not, and that's why traditional wholesaling, it's such a broken model in my experience. And in my opinion, and that's why most traditional wholesaling companies, their closing ratio on contracts is like sub 30%, meaning they'll get 10 contracts and close like 2 or 3 of them. And it's because what will happen is, yeah, they can get a seller to say yes, but the seller's believing one thing. But then once the seller finds out and realizes what's actually going on, the seller goes, oh, no, screw you. I don't want to work with you. I'm not okay with this process. And
that's right.
The wholesaler tries to go, oh, well, I have this contract. And then they're like, yeah, cool. So it's like, well, we could go through this 5-year lawsuit and try to, but it won't hold up in court really anyways. Yeah, no, like who wants to even do that process? That is not good business.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
So long story short, guys, getting the contract signed by the seller, that is the first step. But we need to continue to have them sold on doing business with us all the way to closing. And again, as we had just spoke about, the average closing, it's not, oh, we're closing next week. Sometimes, but that's on the rare occasion. Most of the time, the seller needs to be on board with working with you and wanting to do the deal with you for usually, on average, up to 60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
So, Nathan, love all the insight. And I just want everyone to know that the title company is in this deal and most deals is the MVP. A lot of people use transaction coordinators. If you have a great title company, you don't honestly need a transaction coordinator because they do that part. They literally just do everything for you if we have the right title company. So I've heard, like, I never really used a TC before, bro, just because I've always just been able to work with great title companies. So, but I'm sure it's helpful if you're
a rock star like TC person before.
I think if you're doing tons of volume, you need it.
Place. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in Utah, when we were doing majority of our deals in Utah, like our title person was like a TC, bro. Like it was great. Escrow officer. Anyway, so let's move on. And again, if anybody has any questions while we're doing this, pop them in. We'll read it. So this is where, and like Nathan Valley said, signing the contract is not the end with the seller. Like, and these are the 4 things that came up at us as we are doing this that would have killed this deal and made this lady lose everything. But because we know how to deal with these things, right? We've had the experience and we were transparent, right, Nate? Imagine trying to deal with all this without like being like, yeah, I'm buying it. And you're not. Like, it would have been a nightmare, bro. So this is the first thing that happened. We had a buyer, conventional buyer, offered $300,000. We had a 275 minus those fees. We were like, okay, we're going to make a decent amount. $300,000 they offer. They go through their inspection. It takes 2 weeks. They put down earnest money. And they go through their process of inspecting the property. And after they've done their inspection, they come out with like some giant list. And it's like, because that's what inspectors do. They go in there to find every single problem, even if there's not a big problem. They're going to find something. So
that's what they get paid for.
That's what they get paid for. So they came out with this giant list, and the person at $300,000, guess what they offered after their inspection? They dropped all the way down to $100,000. They're like, I'll give you $100K for it because we found this and this and this and this and this, and they were out. And I was like, bro, $100,000, you must be out of your mind. And that's the other thing that's really good about being transparent to the sellers. There's so many different buyers that were making offers. There are buyers at 100,000, 150, 120, 220. Like, the range is insane. So like, for you to go in there and think you know what the top buyer's gonna pay, just be honest with yourself. You don't know. And unless the seller's already super low, you're going to lose that deal by lowballing them. We didn't lose this deal by lowballing her because we didn't have to. So anyway,
and when just a really key thing here too, guys, in the negotiation process, the reason why it is not only is it ethical and honest and the right thing to do, but the reason why it is also significantly more effective doing what we call the pre-flip method, right, and having a transparent process is because traditional wholesaling, right? When that happens, the traditional wholesaler calls the seller and says, "Oh, hey, Ms. Seller, so yeah, something popped up during the inspection. The rehab came back a little higher than we were expecting, and so we can't do 275 anymore. We need to be at 90,000." That's not gonna. The seller's gonna be like, "What are you talking about? Like, you looked at the house, you saw the pictures, you said you could do 275, and then what do you mean?" Right? Lose all the trust, you lose rapport, they don't want to work with you anymore. Versus same exact situation or same exact seller, but just instead of the conversation, "Hey, Ms. Seller, the buyers, they went and looked at it. Here's the roadblock we're running into. Here is what they are saying. And because of XYZ 1, 2, 3, they're saying they wouldn't be able to make this price work. They would need to be down around here. I'm not the bad guy anymore." Right? And then the seller goes, "Oh my gosh, that price is so low. Well, I would never say yes to that. That's crazy low." "Yeah, Ms. Seller, I totally understand. I gave them a hard time about it too. So what do you think you want to do?" That's a much easier conversation to have, I promise you. So cool. So we they come back 100K. We're like, "Nah, get out of here."
You were like, forget that. We don't even have it for 100K. It's insane. So what we're able to do after that is, well, I'm going to explain that next, but let's talk more about these deal killers because they were intense. So the next one we find out is, as we're dealing with them and we're waiting on them, title comes back and says, "Oh, we found out that there's actually a cloud on title. Someone filed an affidavit of memorandum, and you can't sell this thing until you get it removed." So, okay, what if we don't get a hold of the people? Then that's why I asked. So, like, so if we don't get a hold of people by the auction date, like, can you even sell it? She's like, "No, pretty much there's nothing that can happen." So I had to figure that out too. So she emailed me and said, "Okay, this is the company that has the affidavit on it." So I called them, and it's a cool wholesaler guy in New York. He's just like, "Yeah, man, we had a deal to work with this lady like a year ago. We listed it, and she ended up not wanting to sell." So that happens. So I said, "Look, like, she's ready to sell. She probably doesn't want to work with you again, right? Because that's usually, maybe they told her that they were buying it, who knows? And they had it for 275 as well. Okay. So 275. And he's like, dude, he's like, if you can just pay me out like a couple grand when you guys do the deal, that'd be great. Now that I talked to him while we had this buyer, so I was willing to pay him a couple grand just to have him remove it. But what ended up happening is they backed out, and then every other offer was like lower than what me and Nathan had it at 275. So I ended up calling him back and say, look, man, like you have it at 275 right now. You're the best buyer. Do you want to buy it? And he's like, nah, I don't want to buy it. I just want the wholesale. I said, I can't pay you out anything if you have it for higher than what we can wholesale it for. And he was, so I just need you to remove it. So he's like, all right, I got it. I'll remove it. So he removed it. Didn't have to pay any money to him. And like, again, if I had worked hard and someone like a seller tried to back out on me, and someone later did it and I had a good deal on it, I would work with that person, right? Like I'd hope they wanted to work with me too. So I wasn't trying to shyster the guy. I wasn't trying to get rid of him, but it didn't make sense to pay him because he had it too high. Nathan, what's up?
Yeah, just like kudos to that guy being awesome about the guys. I will say that does not happen often in this business. Like do the right thing, even if it means you make less money. If you're able to pay something out to them, do it. It's the right thing. They had the deal first, should have closed. The seller backed out. Do the right thing, get them paid. Right. And then the situation changed to where prices were significantly lower than what they had the deal at. And so he was like, yeah, he wasn't able to make that deal happen. So it's like kind of like we're making a whole new deal happen here.
Yeah.
But guys, if someone else has the deal, like just be cool. Like
talk it out. You don't have to
each other.
Yeah, work with each other.
Some interesting interactions over the years between people.
All right.
This was luckily a good one.
Yeah. Well, yes, but more to come
with the wholesaler.
So next step. This has never happened to me my whole wholesaling career. The government shut down, right? So she was not only had a tax auction date, right? That she was going to lose her house at this auction. She was behind and she was in pre-foreclosure. So she had an FHA loan and the government had that loan. And the only one that could release like that information so they could get a payoff was the government. But the government was shut down. So they were the bottleneck at this point. Like we couldn't get the deal done unless the government was back in action and working. So that was another another issue. The government was shut down. So because the title agent was an MVP and we worked with not title agent, the escrow officer, the title company we're working with was the MVP. She was able to work with the sheriff and the tax sale and get it extended a couple months more, right? Because we were on a ticking time clock, a ticking time bomb. Like it was going to happen where she was going to lose her house, but because the title agent
when we came into the picture with the seller, it was like she was going to get closed on. It was going to auction like the next week, like less than 7 days away. So we get a contract and
we get extended once. Just like a month or two.
Extended for, I think it was about a month, like 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. And then things got delayed because of the government shutdown and stuff. And so, but I think it was primarily the issue with the offers were not coming back at prices that would be able to work, combined with the government shutdown. Those two things was like, man, we need more time. We're able to reach out and kind of negotiate an additional extension. And I think he gave it like 3 months He was just like, dude, because he knew that we were going to be able to help this woman and get her out of it. So yeah, he just kind of threw it out pretty far out, which was
there
awesome.
You go, guys.
And the seller was super happy about that.
Oh yeah.
Because it bought her more time inside the home while she was trying to figure out where she was going to be moving to and stuff like that.
Yeah, not only that, but when we talk about negotiation later with paperwork, Nathan, you were actually able to give her an extra 30 days after close to move out instead of just getting out immediately, right? Because she needed the funds to move. So anyway, 4 roadblocks, 4 red light, like yellow lights, whatever you want to call it, speed bumps, hiccups, 4. And Nate, do you think you could have dealt with all this like your first year of wholesaling, your first 6 months?
Oh my gosh.
Your first deal? Absolutely not, right?
No, not even close.
Okay, so we were able to deal with that. And honestly, I wish this wholesale fee was more because I think this was a lot of work. But hey, you know, there's some other deals that have been huge and I haven't really had to do anything. So it ebbs and flows and it all evens out. All right, so most people could not have saved this deal as we were talking about. I just said that. Stopped the auction, survived the shutdown, cleared title, and 30 days to move. We gave her that for free, right? And the title company is great. So what did we do here? We were, like we told you guys, we were getting people that were interested at 324 to go see it. Once they saw it, they're like, forget this place. This place is horrible. So we were not going to move the deal at that price, right? Because even the expectations that people had, it was the wrong expectation. We were getting the wrong buyers. So we had it at this point at 275. We had not tried to renegotiate yet because we were giving it time to see, but we realized the writing was on the wall. We wouldn't be able to do it. So we had two options here. And this was a bold move right here, Nate. We could have just dropped it to maybe instead of 324.9, we could have done like 299, right? Like that was the next thought, like 299,000. But we're like, nah. Let's drop it to 249,999. Let's drop it $75,000 and make it the cheapest house in all of the Atlanta, right? So we did that, even though we didn't have it under contract that low. My phone was literally melting, bro. My phone started melting.
So let me explain the reason why. Like, Nate, why on earth would we do that? That's crazy. The reason why, guys, is a couple. So number one, what you just circled there, to create urgency
and bid it up.
We knew we put it at a price that would create this feeding frenzy, right? It would get a lot of attraction, and the buyers, guys, just because you list it for 249, it doesn't mean you can't accept an offer higher, right? A perfect example is like all during COVID. That's basically how every house sold. It's like if you didn't make an offer above the asking price, it's like, what are you even doing here? So yes, we're listing it for 249, but it doesn't mean we can't use this big frenzy to our advantage to bid people up at a higher price. At the same time, it's at a price that it generates all this attention, getting all these people, phone melting off the hook, all these walkthroughs, all these showings. It demonstrates to the seller of like, yo, we are doing our job clearly. Like we are getting people to look at this house and make offers. And then thirdly, it also helps with a renegotiation. Hey, Ms. Seller, I mean, we had people look at it. You can see for yourself. I mean, we priced it lower than what our contract is with you. Here's the obstacle that we're running into. Here's the prices of where things probably would need to be at. Right? Because what it demonstrates is, what is your other option? Yeah. Right? You're going to list it with somebody else for a higher price? Nope, that's not going to happen. Like everybody's already seen the house, right? So like the issue isn't that people aren't seeing it. The issue isn't that, oh, well, we're pricing it really high and we're trying to be greedy. Nope, we're doing the exact opposite. So the only thing that's left, Ms. Seller, is needing to come down on price. So all of this kind of plays into being able to create a spread of, okay, how do we get offers on the table, right, to solve this woman's problem? But also, how can we kind of set things up into our favor, right? How can we stack as many chips as possible in our favor so that we can negotiate in a way that's going to allow us to make money?
That's right. And now I will say that before we did this, the best cash offers I was getting were between 220 and 230. Wasn't getting anywhere close to where she wanted to be. So after doing this, it worked. My phone started melting. We started getting cash buyers that were willing to look at it that weren't willing to look at it before, or willing to relook at it. And the offers all the way came from 249. They bid all the way up to 267. That was the best cash offer we were able to get. And that's beneficial to us because we no longer have to deal with financing. We don't no longer have to deal with inspections or anything like that with the traditional financing in the banks.
And to be clear,
a cash buyer. Go ahead.
The second, the offer with that we ended up moving forward with was at 267. But the second, and this is why, sometimes people have an issue with like, why are you always making so much money? Like, why do we negotiate with people, for the lowest price? Like, oh, isn't that predatory? No, guys, things fall through in real estate all the time. If somebody needs to sell the home, it is my responsibility to find out what is the absolute lowest price the seller is willing to pay and what is the absolute highest price that a buyer is willing to pay. Because here's exactly why. 267 was the offer we moved forward with.
The best one.
The second highest offer was $30,000 less than this one. So if I tell a seller like, oh yeah, we can do 260, right? And then obviously there's other fees and stuff, but just for simplicity's sake, well, if this fell through, right? Oh, the financing fell out last minute or the buyer backed out, whatever the case may be. If I negotiated a deal low enough, I'm still able to solve that person's problem, especially if they're in pre-foreclosure, right? Or a house is going to auction. Oh, like it's even more so. It is so important so that if something falls, right now, going with the highest offer, it looks like we might make a big check, like a whole lot of money. But guys, it is so often that real estate, there's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of moving pieces. Things can fall through for a million different reasons. If this highest offer, if it works out, awesome. But if not, the second next best offer might be right here. But thankfully, if you negotiate as low as possible, thankfully, you're able to get it low enough to where you can still make it work and still serve that seller and solve their problem.
That's right. So this one was a lot cleaner, a lot easier. It was a cash buyer. As you guys can see, the one that flipped it in the beginning of this video, you can see the flip. It looks great. We're able to assign it to them. Straight assignment. Here's the assignment paper. Oh, I didn't include the assignment paperwork, but I can't. If anybody wants to see what the assignment looks like, it's fake. It's not a real deal. It's real. No, if you guys want to see what ours looks like, it's pretty straightforward and easy. Just says we're assigning our rights. But anyway, so we assigned this property. We had a 256. That's what Nate renegotiated to. We assigned it for 267. Again, we're grateful that this buyer came through because all the other offers are lower and we would have to renegotiate again.
Yeah, let me also kind of put in a key note here. People talk about motivation. Motivation is an internal thing, not an external thing. People think that, oh, they're in foreclosure, they're motivated. No, not necessarily. Right? People think, oh, they're about to lose the home. That's a motivated seller. No, motivation is an emotion. So, Nate, you just gave this whole speech on negotiate, to the lowest price so that if this offer fell through, we could go with the next lowest one. Well, then why did we only make 11 grand? Wouldn't the second offer have been lower? Before we even accepted this offer, tried to renegotiate lower. The seller was like, hey, nope, I'm not going any lower. This is what I want. And we're like, hey, just so you know, if this falls through, or if you don't move forward with this, or if this falls through, like the auction date, because now that time what was the total, like 5.5 months or whatever? That big extension we got, we were now getting towards the end of that big extension. And it was like, Ms. Seller, everyone has seen this. We've talked to cash buyers. We've talked to retail buyers. This is where prices are at. If this doesn't go through, like, you will lose the home. Even getting the seller to say yes to a price that would work for this offer. It's like, hey, if we're not able to make this work, like, you would lose the home. And you have like $200,000 in equity. Like, what do you want? And she's like, I don't care. Yeah, I'm not accepting anything less than this. If I lose the home, I lose the home. Now, people might hum and haw and say, oh my gosh, well, that's so dumb. Why would a seller ever do that? I can't believe some people are so ridiculous. Guys, that is why homes go into foreclosure. Like, foreclosures still happen all the time because we cannot. Motivation It is an internal thing, not an external.
I want to say this too.
Sorry, one last piece I just want to throw in there. Also, from a negotiating standpoint, the reason why it's so important to focus on the process is because no matter how good someone is at sales and negotiating, you cannot force somebody, or at least not legally, guys, don't do this, right? You cannot force somebody to say yes to a price that they don't want to say yes to, whether they're going to lose the home or not. So for the seller that doesn't want to sell, or that we think, wow, they need to sell, why aren't they doing that? Don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah, you might be able to be better at the negotiating process, but there are also times to where it doesn't matter who talked to that seller. Like, that was going to play out the exact same way.
Yeah. And I want to say this for everybody are you almost done?
One last thing I just want to come on. is so after that conversation, we had a crossroads. Do we close the deal and only make 11 grand? Or do we kind of, dig our heels in and say, no, we'll only do this price, or it's going to go to foreclosure? Different people will have different opinions on this. I know there's a lot of gurus that would probably disagree with me on this, and different wholesaling operators. If you're able to get the deal done, get the deal done. Get the deal done and make a profit. Get the deal done and make a profit. Make more on the next one. Giving an ultimatum of like, hey, Ms. Seller, you can say yes to this price, and let's just say that would make somebody $30,000 because they know she's about to lose the home to foreclosure. Hey, you can say yes to this price, or like, we'll just wait and you'll lose the home. I don't think that's good business. I don't think that's ethical. I think, guys, it's important. You got to be able to leave, even though, oh, but she's in the wrong. How could she do that? Like, this is such an easy decision for her, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Leave your ego at the door and do the right thing. And unfortunately, I wish there were a lot more wholesaling operators that would have that kind of mindset, but hopefully you guys watching this will be able to kind of adopt that. So leave the ego at the door, do the right thing, get the deal done.
That's it. Anything else you wanted to say?
Nah, brother, that's all you.
Okay. So, one last thing I wanted to try real quick. Okay. Sorry. I was trying to edit something. Where are we? Let me get back on this stream. Okay. So what I wanted to say while you're going through your giant monologue, dude, or your tirade or whatever, basically when sellers want a big price, don't let that discourage you from working with them. Like, just be honest and be transparent about what's going on, and see that, do the pre-flip method, right? Because like, realistically, like, if they will come down eventually if they have the right motivation, or their house isn't going to get what they think. Like, a lot of people just want to work with somebody that they lowball and they're just in the money, and then they can do a deal. Like, we do deals all the time when the seller's unrealistic. So but you have to have the right process to do that. So a lot of people are like, well, everybody wants so much money. It's like, yeah, everybody wants a ton of money, but you just have to help them realize that they're out of their heads are in the clouds, and there's a process to that. So if you feel like you're losing out on a lot of deals, it's probably because your sales process is not able to get those type of sellers to work with you. That's what I wanted to say. All right.
Love it.
So let's, so the cherry on top to all this is our partner. While we were doing all this, he was learning as he went, and he got paid 30% of the deal. So here's the $3,300 we sent to him after the deal closed. And he learned by doing a real deal, not from theory. So that's what we do at Payneless Flipping. What we just showed you is like a real deal. It's a messy deal. A lot of deals are messy. If anybody tells you in this business that come in, do a deal in 7 days, 30 days, like, yeah, that's like an outlier. Okay. It happens, but they're usually messy. And that's why there's so many people that don't close deals in this business, is because they have an opportunity and they can't do it. So then we come along or someone else comes along with more experience and gets it done. So Nathan, with that data that you were showing me, like we were talking to that data provider earlier, so there's a ton of deals that people pay for, but they don't close themselves, and they think they're bad leads or dead deals. And then like 60% of them end up closing. Why? Because someone else with a better process, understands how to work with sellers, is able to get it done. So if you think you got bad leads, it's most likely not true. Okay. Because they probably end up selling somehow. You just weren't able to get it done. So that's what we do at Payneless Flipping, is we work with you, not only help you set up your wholesaling business, but we help you close deals that normally you wouldn't be able to do, and you learn while you earn.
Yeah, the simplest way I can explain it is most programs and stuff, they're kind of set up to where it's like, imagine Michael Jordan teaching you how to shoot the ball, and then he hands it to you and he's like, all right, you do it. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, just because Michael Jordan showed me how to do it, that does not make me Michael Jordan overnight. Right. And then on YouTube and stuff, and a lot of times it's not even your guys' fault. It's because other people try to explain the business of like, oh, it's so simple. You just buy low and sell high, right? That's like Michael Jordan, again, being like, guys, it's so simple. You just take the ball, you put it in the basket. It's like, yeah, that's true, but there's a little bit more to it than that. So what we do, what we've found, is just has insane results for people. Is imagine if Michael Jordan said, hey, here's what play is going to be the best fit for you. Just run here, catch the ball, and call timeout. And then you can hand the ball to Michael Jordan and he can make the shot for you. And that way you can still be scoring points from day one without needing to be the Michael Jordan of every single little piece first. So guys, if you're looking for something to where, not only helps set you up with the business, but also kind of give you a strategy that is actually profitable and works very well for wholesaling, and you'd like to go through a process to where you can be closing deals from day one, but still learn one step at a time, you'd probably be really interested in what we do.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested, all you got to do is go to the link below wherever you're watching, or just go to paynelessflipping.com. It's pretty simple. Just PAYNE, like my last name, paynelessflipping.com. And then just fill out a short form. It's like a little application to see if, we'd be a good fit to work together, and we hop on a call and we discuss it. But anyway, let's do a recap real quick, Nathan, of the deal. We had a distressed house. There are 4 deal killers, but with one bold move, dropping it down below less than what we had it under contract for, we were able to do an $11,000 fee on $11,000 fee on something that wasn't going to be a deal. If she would have lost her house, I promise you. Like the way that how much action she was willing to take and how slow she was going to lose her house. But we were able to come in, and not only we got $11,000 fee, but we got our partner paid. And and we had to deal with all this stuff, dropping it down below contract, saving it from auction, cleared a title, a cloud on title, cash buyer. We went with a cash buyer.
Fact, go ahead. That seller actually texted me a couple weeks ago. And was like, hey, my friend is going through this situation with this house. It's probably worth this much. She needs this much. Can you help her? That is what I'm talking about. Like, that doesn't happen all the time, to where a seller will refer somebody to you, just because, like, how often, right, do they come across that? But having a strategy and a process, right? And for us, we call it the pre-flip method. A process that not only makes you money, that not only allows you to make offers that beat out every other wholesaler, but also, most importantly, it ends with a happy seller and a happy buyer. Right? That's pretty cool. So, and
what I've found, Nathan, the best way to teach the pre-flip method is through actually watching it done, right? Like, we can explain it just like we can explain wholesaling, but seeing how it's done is really, and the reason why we were able to do it and a lot of people aren't able to do it is because they haven't had the reps to know how to go through the process. But anyway, if you guys want to close deals like this with us, just go to paynelessflipping.com, go to the link below, click it. We'd love to chat with you. Especially if you've been trying to do this. Like, we work with several people who have been trying to do this for months and years of spending money, wasting their time, and we end up helping them close deals. Why? Because they're missing the key components to getting this done, and it's experience. Unfortunately, like I wish you didn't have to go through hard things and learn through that experience, like that trial and error. But that's how you win. That's how you get there. So anyway, and Nate, do you have anything else to say before we wrap up? Before we end?
No, that's it. Check it out, guys. If it's a good fit, we can talk more about it. If not, cool. Hey, no harm, no foul. All good. And yeah, see you guys next time.
Yeah. And if you found this video helpful, I hope you did. I mean, we prepared this thing for you. So if you find it helpful, like, subscribe, do all the nice things, especially liking it, because that gets it in front of more people. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.
Later.